Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SI2023! We are live from the iconic Place Belle here in Montreal, and very shortly we will be throwing you into our amazing grand final. Are we ready for it, Siege fam? Not quite yet, because first we've got some serious business to attend to. Now, every SI, what we like to do is appreciate, shine a spotlight, and commemorate some of the most amazing figures in Siege history. We've had all kinds, an eclectic mix of those from in front of the camera, behind the scenes, over the years. And I'm so excited, I'm delighted to give our next award out. It is a man who is Siege royalty. He has had one of the most illustrious careers as a player and beyond that this video game has ever seen. A two-time SI champion, a major winner. He's got more Siege silverware than you can probably count. Our 2022 MVP is the one and only Pengu.
In a lot of ways, I feel like I was born to do it. It sounds really weird to say, but I feel like since I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a Pro League player. And I knew that if I was given the chance and the opportunity, I would do something great at some point in my career. I didn't think it was gonna be this crazy, but I always knew that there was a real chance for me to do something really spectacular in some game. And that game, of course, is Rainbow Six Siege.
When you talk about Siege, Pengu is one of the first people you think about.
Google who is the best player in Rainbow Six. 9 times out of 10, you're probably gonna get Pengu because the enormous track record of just superior dominance.
What he conquered in this game was amazing. He was just phenomenal. And
he's won more events than most players can ever dream of winning.
So my name is Niklas Mortsen. I'm currently 25 years old. I was born in the same town that I still live in Ulstedt, and I love video games. As I got older, I recognized that you can't only play video games for a living, or rather for fun, because it doesn't pay the bills. But when I turned 18, I had the chance to try and prove that statement wrong and try and make a living out of it. I made a forum post asking anybody out there in the world, like, I want to go pro. If anybody needs a player for a team, I'm available. And one person responded, and he said, we have a team. We also want to be Pro League players. Let's do it together. In May, the following year, we won the very first Pro League finals and became the first ever champions on PC. Despite winning that very first tournament in May, we didn't qualify for anything else for the rest of the year. And I was actually going to retire. But then, you know, Penta 2.0 happened with Fabian and those guys. And then the real story was written. So I didn't really decide on becoming a streamer. I was playing Rainbow Six Siege like 10 hours a day, and I would play against the same people in ranked. They would ask me like, why don't you stream? I mean, we know you're playing all day because we play against you, so you might as well show what you can do. So when I started streaming, it was in, I believe it was year 1, season 2. So this is before my Pro League success. I had a lot of difficulties in the beginning. I was a very, very shy and sheltered kind of person. And the thing is, I started streaming on a camera, which really helped me a lot because I could just hide and talk a little bit sometimes. But then, you know, as the stream grew, people were like, what do you look like? Why don't you have a camera? I think a camera would be really good for your stream. I was like, okay. So I can't really afford a camera right now. I had no money. And one of my very first viewers called Raven Going Up, who still follows me to this day, we still talk sometimes. He was like, I got a spare camera, I can send it to you. And he actually sent it all the way from America to my place here in Denmark. And then that's how it started. And it was never intended for me to make money from it. But then of course, as the stream started growing, we got a certain amount of subscribers or donations. And I remember we got like a $200 donation back then. And I like ran out my room. I was like, oh, we got $200 donation. I can buy pizza for like a week now. And my computer would break. All of a sudden, there's a guy called Scrivy from Australia who's like, I have a spare graphics card. So now I have a webcam from America, I have a graphics card from Australia, and I have a guy from Asia sending me money sometimes for donations. And I was like, this is crazy. Rather quickly, we built a very strong friendship between the people that would tune in every single day. So I think streaming helped me grow out of my shell and communicate with people. I would argue that it's helped my casting career because I talk for 6 to 12 hours a day on my stream. I was actually streaming when it was announced by Parker on Twitter what had happened. And I ended up, ending the stream and taking time for myself to figure out how I felt about it. Probably about a week and a half after the tweet went live, Parker reached out and asked if I wanted to be his commentator for the Sweden major. To which, of course, I said no. I said, there's no way I can do that. For a lot of reasons. For starters, I'm not a caster. And I could not fulfill those shoes or replace Michael. And Parker said, I don't need you to say yes or no right now, but think about it. And I did what any person would do in my shoes. I went to my mom, my family, my friends, and they said, it's not so much about whether you could do the job or not, but more so that, if you take this opportunity, you can look back and say you tried and you know what it's like, instead of always wondering, what if you had a great time doing it? So when Parker and we spoke again, I asked Parker why. I think I needed clarification for my own sake, why it was me. He said Michael was an expert at Rainbow Six Siege, and Parker would like another expert to work alongside him. And then Parker said that he's not coming to me because he thinks I can replace Kix or Michael because I can't. But he wanted me to be someone that would be a familiar face to fill up, a small portion of that large void that was left by Michael because I was never gonna do as good of a job as he did. I was very surprised that I liked it, yeah. I started in a nice way because I started with no fans in Gävle, and then we ended up with the Charlotte Major. And casting with no crowd is fun, but casting for a crowd is like playing in a grand finals at an invitationals. And I can see why casting is addicting all of a sudden, just like playing is when you get to that stage. Everyone is just cheering, not just for their favorite team, but for the game. My job right now as a caster and even as a streamer is to come up as a very passionate person to make sure that it shows through on camera and on the microphone because I do love the game and I do love the job that I'm in.
I can see in his eyes, this is the biggest thing for him and it just makes him happy and proud. And I am more proud than anybody else.
The game and my career has brought a lot of things to my life. How to be an adult, how to be around people. It's given me purpose, and it's given me a lot of good friendships. And I got like an idea of what family felt like outside of my own home.
He is the most decorated player of all time. He's a 2-time world champion, one of the biggest streamers that we have, one of the biggest YouTubers that we have, and in many ways I think is the de facto face of the game.
I want to hear this building erupt. For in my opinion, the greatest of all time, Pengu! One of the most decorated players this game has ever seen. And I can tell you from experience, one of the most lovely the loveliest person you could ever wish to meet. I'm going to first give you this trophy, and I want the crowd to go nuts. MVP Pengu. And I'm going to give you the microphone.
Thank you, Ian. First of all, can we give a round of applause for him as well? It's a great host. It's deserved. I never thought I would stand on a stage like this ever again, let alone to receive an award or lift a trophy. So I'm very honored. And also I see a Vamos Penta sign in the crowd. Vamos Penta! I want to be honest with everybody watching, both from home, at home and in the crowd. The last couple years have been very difficult. see a couple people nodding their heads, and it's because it's difficult for everybody. You know, the pandemic, things got weird, they changed. You know, tournaments, all of a sudden, no longer. And we all deal with our hardships in different ways. And for me, personally, going to events like this, meeting people from across the world, people that I consider some of my best friends, well, when that gets taken away from you, I struggle to deal with that. But we're back. A full year now of crowds, of tournaments, and it feels so good. I would like to ask a favor from everybody here at the venue to take a moment, look to your left and to your right, the people that are around you, next to you. Look at the stage where the players will play between G2 and W7M. Look at the trophy, the hammer. There's one person in this, arena looking to raise it for the third time, Fabian. And just capture this moment because you never know when your last tournament will be, whether it is a player, as a caster, as a member of the crowd. Take it all in. I've never held a speech before, and when I was approached in October of last year that I was supposed to make one, I would write notes when I was flying across the world to cast, always crying on the plane, being emotional because it means a lot to me. I cried backstage 2 minutes ago. I had to pick myself together before walking out here. I want to thank my mom for always being the supportive character that she is. Of course, raising me, supports me the entire way. I'd like to thank somebody called Thomas Lee. You guys know him as Shaz, my coach throughout my entire career. That's right, Shaz! For helping me become an adult, to learn from failing, and by doing and by trying. He couldn't be here today, but I miss you, Shaz, I do. And lastly, all my former teammates, people that I've worked with, and of course, all of you, the fans, the heart of Rainbow Six Siege.
What a beautiful speech. I'm just going to wrap this up with a couple of last questions. Pengu, number one, of course, you mentioned Fabian is going to be leading out G2 as coach to potentially lift this for the third time. Deep down, do you really want him to do it? Because doesn't that make him better than you?
If Fabian raises the third hammer, I'll have to come back to challenge him for it.
Oh! Okay. And finally, there's 20 seconds left on the clock. What do you do?
Honestly, you gotta clutch it up, baby. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter when, you just gotta do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for this wonderful man to my left, Pengu!
Thank you all so much. But I would love to stand here all day, I would. But we have an incredible grand finals to watch between G2 and W7M. So please, one last time, give it a round of applause for yourself and everybody watching from home.
Pengu, get yourself ready for that grand final. Thank you so much for everything. Oh, anybody else tearing up then? Yeah.